Hello, my name is Ilona. I want to take a look at the Ukraine. What is the energy right now? And I want to take a look at Russia as well. I don't think I've ever really did a card reading on Russia. Maybe I have, I'm not sure, but I'm going to take a look at that as well. Right now, so many things are going on. There are going to be a third round of talks tomorrow between Ukraine and Russia. I truly believe that as soon as Mr. P has gotten rid of all the dark influences, that there will be peace talks, because there is not going to be this humongous war or this third world war where really the media is trying to push that narrative. I truly don't believe that that's going to happen. I don't feel it in the energy. Russia has also declared war, so to speak, on the media. They announced that there's a law now against fake news. So everyone is getting out of there. CNN is getting out of there. Die Deutsche Welle. A lot of other media and journalists are getting out of Russia, which is very interesting. So he's also cleaning house in his own country concerning the media. There are so many dark influences there. I don't think you can access Facebook or Meta anymore from Russia. Twitter is limited, and I think a lot of things are going on. He also declared the gold standard now. That's back. So he's already ahead of the quantum financial system. I truly believe that we're heading towards that, and that he's taken the step that everything will be backed by gold. So that's interesting. So I'm going to take a look at Ukraine. What is going on in the Ukraine? Let's see. We have the Two of Swords. That's interesting. We have the King of Wands as the central card. The White Hats. We have the Queen of Swords in the past. Underneath the King of Wands, we have the King of Pentacles. That's interesting. Two kings. And we have Justice in the future. I'm just going to get one more extra card, the Nine of Pentacles. So this is interesting. To me, this really represents the white hats and the influences. So I do truly believe that Mr. P is cleaning up house. Things need to change there. But it will look on the outside like people will not completely understand. There is so much misinformation going on. The media is really selling Mr. P as this awful person, and we're going to get into a third world war. And well, there's a lot going on. I do believe that in a way the white hats, and I see Mr. P as a very practical man. So he sort of could be the King of Pentacles. He is very, in a way, I kind of more resonate with the King of Swords because he's very calculating, but he's also very practical. So he could be a combination of the Pentacles, you know, that earth sign, and the cunningness of the sword sign, so to speak, or the air signs. So he knows he's got a plan. He's following that plan. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's ready to work, so to speak, for it, because that's what the King of Pentacles does. He applies the plan and executes the plan. That's what he does. So I think a lot of things are going to start happening. I think as soon as everything is cleared, there will be peace talks. He has no intention of just taking over that country, although there are a lot of information that Ukraine isn't officially a country, but it's still part of Russia. There's a lot of information you can find about that in the alternative media if you're interested in that. And of course, you can make up your own mind. But justice is coming. Justice is being served. That is what's going on. And in the future, justice will come and will be served. And this will help the people of the Ukraine, help them health-wise, because people forget that horrible things have been happening for years there. It's almost like they want to forget about that and just want to focus on Mr. P. But in the Ukraine, things have not been easy for the Ukraine people, and my heart goes out to the people there, and all the people that are in horrific situations or horrible oppressive situations. But Ukraine, it's not been easy for the people of Ukraine, and things are going to change. There's going to be another balance, more health-wise, because the Nine of Pentacles is also a card about feeling, good in your own body. So I think a lot of things will change. For some reason, I also believe that they are using this to get rid of certain processed foods, especially because a lot of export has been halted. So a lot of things cannot go around anymore. And to be very honest, I see this not just cleaning up in the Ukraine area, but cleaning up everywhere around the world. Like I said, Mr. P is starting to clean up the media. There is cleaning up in the food. What we're eating. I think we're going to see more and more processed food falling apart because all these ingredients or export is not going to happen anymore. I don't see this as a bad thing. Like I've said before, so many changes need to be made, especially with our food, with what we drink, what we eat. I think a lot of processed food is just chemical beep. Really, we don't need that. So I think we're going to be focusing more and more on health foods, or at least foods that have nutrition that are good for us. We need to step away from this entire dark influences of all these toxins in our foods, in our water. I think I think they're already clearing up the air. I already had that feeling for quite some time now. I got that from my card readings as well. They've tried to help us also for a while with the stripes in the sky. Of course, depends on how you feel about that. That's fine with me. Right now in the Netherlands, we have had clear skies for quite some time, to be very honest. Well, not quite some time, but I think it started after the storms that really cleaned up the air here. But since, of course, what's happening in Ukraine, there's not a stripe in sight, to be very honest. We really have clear blue skies here, and it's beautiful. So I'm just going to take a look at Russia. What is going on there? What is the energy of Russia? Let's see. We have the Wheel of Fortune. We have the World. Oh, that's interesting. We have the Empress. We have the Five of Wands. That's underneath the World. And for the future, we have the King of Swords. And I'm going to get one more card, and that's the Ten of Wands. I've kind of pictured Mr. P, that he's kind of the King of Swords. Very calculating, knows what he's doing. That's the kind of feeling. Maybe it's not completely true, but that's the kind of feeling I have with Mr. P and he doesn't get real angry. He's very controlled. It's just how he has that era of, how do you say that? Not his aura. Era is something completely different. He has that aura around him, that very, in a way, just looking at things, making his decisions, very much in control. But we have beautiful cards, the World, and I do believe that from Russia things are starting to happen. He is, so to speak, saving the world. That's the feeling I'm getting, especially with the World cards in Central. I do believe that Russia has a big part to play in that and is already playing their part. Let's face it, by taking over, or at least getting rid of all these dark energies in the Ukraine, they are saving a lot of people all around the world. Horrific things were happening there. There were really a lot of dark operations with all kinds of bioweapons, with children, with horrendous things happening that we probably can't even imagine. Most of it I probably don't even know, and there's so much more that needs to come out. But he is kind of saving the world. He's moving it in a new direction. I think his action started things. We're in the end phase. That's my feeling. We're in the end game. How long this is going to, continue, I don't know. I get questions about that a lot. Well, is it going to stop before a certain date? I don't know. And that's very simple, because I'm feeling everything is going to be fine. That's the feeling. I trust fully in the process. I know the light has won. I know God has won. That's not even a question. So how it's going to turn out, or how it's going to play out, it's very difficult, but things are changing continuously. I just get more and more this feeling that we're heading to this beautiful new world, and that's what I focus on. So I understand that people are like, well, when it's going to happen, don't wait for it. Just be prepared. Things can happen. We are still moving into a difficult time. You know, we have the damage of the wasp sting. We're going to see that more and more. You know, all these things that are going on, it's disrupting certain areas. Like I've said with my reading about Ukraine, I do believe a lot of things in the food area are going to change. We need to change that. There is so much crap going on there. Things need to be changed. See this as a change for good, but it can be very chaotic and hectic for a while. So make sure, I'm not even sure if that's going to be a long period or not, because I have a feeling things are going to happen so fast suddenly, but when this is going to happen, I just don't know. I can feel it in the energy. It can happen tomorrow, but it can also take some time before it's happening. So live your life and focus on yourself. We have our part to play. That's about cleaning up your own energy. That's so important. I most likely will make another video on shadow work today, and it's so important that we do that part. But I do believe from this reading that Russia is starting to change the world, actually helping the world and saving the world, so to speak. There's still some, not necessarily infighting, but maybe even in Russia, there's still people who don't fully understand what is going on. You know, you have these demonstration against Mr. P, I believe, in Russia. I do think that those are people that are controlled by certain dark energies as well. So I think it's important that those people are seen as well. You want to drain the swamp completely. I do believe that Mr. P is well aware that there are still some agents running around in his own country that needs to be cleaned up, because this is just such a massive operation. So there's still going to be some, in Russia itself, some energy, some people that might oppose or resist. Like I said, there could be a group of people have no idea what's going on. For them, it's like, what is going on? I do believe it's a brilliant move that he took care of the media, and he got this new law of fake news so he can get rid of them, because people will see more and more truth and real news now. So I believe that what Mr. P is doing is kind of what Mr. T is doing with his Truth Social. I think a lot of real news will come out, of course, in the Truth Social in America. And Mr. P is now taking care of all these other influences. So real news is going to start to come out and people will understand. But they still have, of course, their own, you know, issues, or so to speak. There's still dark influences that need to be taken care of. But I don't think that's going to be a humongous problem. I think they already know kind of where they can expect that. But it can still look like things are moving in Russia. There's some inner fighting. I don't think it's going to be this big thing. I think that the Mr. P has pretty much a good control over that area, over his country. And of course, this could also mean to the outside world, you know, how they label him or how they look at him. You know, Mr. P is this awful person, and the Russian people really don't want this. They really try to divide and conquer. That's what they do. But the narrative is falling apart. This is the future. Well, the future is that, as I see it, Mr. P is really taking control of everything. He's really holding on like, this is my power. This is how we're going to deal with it. I don't see him as a very power hungry person, you know, like as they like to portray him in media. I believe he's very calculated. He knows exactly what he's doing. And he's really there for the people, really try to clean up all these dark influences. And it can still be tough, especially with all the media from the outside world, although I think the White Hats are using those sanctions also to get rid of certain dark influences, you know, like with the food, with other things. Things are changing, but it can still be a little tough. The time for Russia, they can still be portrayed for a while of this awful person. But I think Mr. P knows exactly what he's doing, and he's maintaining that, and he's really there to focus on this new world. So I see this as very positive. I don't have a very negative feeling with Russia or with the Russian people, so to speak. So I think he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. It can still look very different because of all these different perspective that people have on him, but I think ultimately we will understand exactly what he has done. I also want to take a look at Taiwan, because I do believe that's next on the list. Taiwan, let's see what the energy is. We have strength. We have the Seven of Pentacles. That's the central card. We have the Wheel of Fortune in the past. We have the Queen of Pentacles underneath the Seven of Pentacles. And we have the Moon as the future card. I'm just going to get an extra one. The Knight of Cups. So this is interesting. Kind of patience can happen, obviously. We're kind of waiting for that. Although for some reason, I also have a feeling that this really could just be a movie. Things could have already happened, and now we're kind of watching the replay. So that's kind of what I'm sensing with a lot of things, that we're just watching it play out, but it kind of already, it's already done. That's why they have this, you know, the light has won, God has won. But we kind of just need to wait for how things are going to unfold. We need to play through this. Of course, I can understand people call it a movie. I still kind of, you know, there are a lot of people around the world in horrible situations. So to call it a movie is a bit, you know, I don't know. I just don't find that very respectful in a way, because there are certain, you know, people are in dreadful situations. But I do believe it's something that's already happened, and we're kind of watching it along now. That's the feeling I'm getting. So we have to wait and see what's going to happen with Taiwan. I do believe it can happen any day now, but we don't know. Like I've said before, it's very difficult to say, well, in this date, then this and this is going to happen, then that's going to happen. I think there's so many things that need to be in place. It has to do with the energy. It has to do if people are ready for it or not. I do believe, truly believe, that we do have a lot of influence, if we want or not, how it's going to unfold. But there's strength. I do believe that it's going to be like what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. If China, at least Mr. X, is going to start moving in, it is to clean up all those dark influences, to strengthen the world, to strengthen Taiwan. I do believe that there are already, how do you say this, treaties between Taiwan and China, how this is going to work out. I think they're already in place. But it's really about waiting how things are going to unfold. And there's going to be smoke and mirrors, the moon for the future. So it will probably look similar to what Russia is doing in the Ukraine. The narrative will probably be completely like, oh, China is moving ahead. It's horrible. They're invading, something like that. So there's going to be a lot of confusion what's really going on. But again, this is about connecting people again. It's getting rid of certain influences. Especially in Taiwan, there are a lot of things going on there as well. Horrific things, most likely also with microchips. They are, if I'm not mistaken, the country with how do you say this? They have a lot of work done with the microchips. They're very ahead of pretty much everyone else in the world. And I truly believe they were going to use that, at least the dark forces, for all kinds of plans they had. So it's important that that's been taken care of. So I think that's going to happen. When? Like I said, it could happen tomorrow. It could happen in a few weeks or a few months maybe. It's very difficult to say. That's why we have to have patience and kind of see how things are going to unfold. Also with Taiwan and also the people in Taiwan. I do believe that that a lot of things, like I said, in the background are already happening. I think a lot of people there are probably already informed what is going on, what's going to happen. So I think there's a lot of talks between China and Taiwan already. But like I said, the narrative will be spun, or at least they will be spinning the narrative that China is awful, just like Russia, just to scare people, keep people in a lower vibration, hoping they can still get control of the narrative. Like I said, things are falling apart. So this is interesting. I'd like to leave it at this, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye!